Namaste. I just went through a breakup and it took me right back to when I was 26. And what I wish I could tell that version of myself is that don't worry about the other person. Don't focus on the other person, just focus on yourself. What happened is that nothing happened, to be honest with you, as I've been writing and trying to understand. But I went through a breakup, and what happened was that this person just stopped talking to me. And it was after, several months of us hanging out, and there was some back and forth, and there was good communication. But and you would get the communication with the text messages that have the exclamation points, the emojis, and the nice, warm messages that you would get saying that you look good, you're handsome, and then all of a sudden it stopped. I think what happened was maybe I'm an intense guy and I like to move things forward. Sometimes I might make future plans. These are the things that I'm writing down. But there was this one day where I was frantically sending messages, not really within my character set to be doing that. Usually I just kind of wait. I try not to act in emotional mind. I try to act in rational mind, meaning writing it down, understanding, mind hygiening my mind, which is writing, instead of just jumping to conclusions. But that didn't happen this day. And I'm like, well, is this going to happen? Are we going to do this? Are we going to do that? Frantic, anxious attachment patterns. And, as I'm looking at some of these things, I'm in the woods right now. And that's why I want to share some medical evidence and some definitions with you on what anxious attachment is and why it affects you and what the medical evidence is behind it. Anxious attachment is a relationship style that forms from inconsistent caregiving in childhood. For example, I'm like frantically wanting these text messages to come through, probably because when I was a child, my dad hit me, abused me. My mom had schizophrenia. She was gone. My brother was gay. He was on drugs. There was all kinds of things. You may not have felt loved in one moment and ignored in the next. My dad would beat me, make me hit my mom. So with those types of things, you have this anxious attachment pattern. And as an adult, it shows up as a fear of abandonment or need for constant reassurance. You may attach quickly, overthink small things, and feel devastated by emotional distance. It's not about weakness, it's about survival wiring that never got rewired properly. Well, here's the thing, is that because of this, I knew that there was a problem. When I got divorced, about 12 years ago, was it 2013? God bless her heart. I hope that if she's watching this, to let her know that it's because of her that I'm here doing this content. And by the way, I'm Dhruva, MD, a board certified practicing family doctor. And I come to you not as a doctor, but as a patient who has worked through some of these things. And when it does come to the anxious attachment pattern, what I needed to do over time was to figure out ways to understand myself and forgive myself. And I took 4 years off to do this. And I was doing so good, but there was this one time in this one day with these text messages that I was just waiting, checking. And that's where you want to know what kind of work you've done to be where you are. Because here today, I'm not blaming, I'm not pointing a finger, I'm not saying I'm a victim. I do feel bad, of course, and I'm sure the other person feels bad too. For whatever reasons they had to do what they had to do, they did it, so that's not my business, right? My business is to try to understand myself, to serve myself, and when I create this content, I don't feel the need to drink, drug, eat bad, and I feel that I can inspire somebody with the pain that I'm going through. With that said, the medical evidence shows that why heartbreak feels physical. Oh my God, can you believe this? 2011 study by Cross et al., PNAS journal, used brain scans to study people after breakups and found that social rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain. Imagine that. That's why sometimes your chest hurts, and that's why you feel it pounding, or you feel your stomach hurting. That's why sometimes your stomach drops, you may not be able to eat properly. I mean, you're not crazy. It's not your anxiety, it's not your ADD. I mean, you're human and you're wired for connection, and everybody is wired for companionship. And see, with this person, there was nothing that happened, right? We weren't even talking for that long. And the back and forth was really good. The communication was only text. It was really good. And then there's this one time that it wasn't there, and it could have been something that happened to her, right? But I was so anxious that one day. But what I would like for you to know is that your brain literally treats heartbreak like a physical injury. The anterior insula and the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex get activated during a breakup. So it's like that withdrawal and that connection is very, very real. And here's the thing about it, is that what helped me heal was mind hygiene. Here's the thing, is I did not want to fix my emotions, overcome my thoughts, try to find ways to deal with things, try to find ways to cope with things. Well, if I'm here in the woods coping and trying to strategize and trying to deal. And that's why I'm creating this content here, so I can show you kind of how I work through these processes. And what you do is you try to write. And and I haven't written all of these disclosure here right now, but I've been writing like this for several years. And you can see here how I'm just writing my emotions and just trying to understand my thoughts. You can see that there. And then how about this? You know, you can see here how I'm saying, oh, the teaser arc. Oh, here I'm like, well, you know, let's do some bicep curls. Oh, I'm talking in Kannada. I'm like, look, I'm a lucky guy, you know, but I put in a lot of work, you know, got into residency. I've been speaking for 3 years, the power of my mission, vision, purpose, constantly writing. And what this is, there's medical evidence to support this type of writing, which is mind hygiene that I've developed to try to help myself. And I do like writing in the woods. There's a lot of times that I'll come here and just do some quick writing. But what are you going to write? I accept that this happened and I embrace it. And God grant me the serenity to accept the courage behind it, you know, to help others maybe along the way. Studies show that 42%, you're 42% more likely to reach your goals when you write them down. And if your goal is healing, that's the same principle. And this is a Dominican University study by Dr. Gail Matthews. There will be a link in the description to a mind hygiene PDF that you can follow along where you can believe in yourself. If you live alone, don't understand yourself, don't believe in yourself, have mental illness, you think that you're a problem, this is a guide that will help you. And what you want to do is, you know, I'm talking to these young guys out there, you know, whether you're a man or a woman and you're going through a breakup, you want to play the scarcity mindset. You want to play the prize mindset. You want to play the charismatic mindset. You want to play the personal development mindset. What does this mean? That you got to do what you can to put the work in to be the best version of yourself where you are the prize. You're the one that's sought after. You're the one that's lost weight. You're the one, they call it the glow up, right? You're the one who is taking care of their mind. You're the one who is coming here into the woods. Let's show you. Look at my dark she's right there too. Swear now? You're the one who's coming into the woods and creating content to try to inspire others instead of drink, drug, fix your emotions, and try to overcome your thoughts. With that said, when you're charismatic, people will just follow you. For whatever reason, if somebody does leave you, then what you want to do is you want to inspire from it and you want to have like a rejection toolkit in place. As an example, I have this SAARU meditation that I just made up. Sadhu in our language is a comfort food. And sadhu is smile, accept defeat, acknowledge God's work. SAAR is responsibility transfer. Look, God, I'm doing what I can. I'm coming to the woods. I'm writing. And U is usher in something new and embrace uncertainty. And with that said, what I would ask you guys to do is to write it down and to understand why is it and what did you do in this process. For example, I'm like, maybe I'm too intense. Maybe this one text message had nothing to do with me. I mean, she doesn't owe me anything. You know, she didn't do anything wrong. She's just doing what she needs to do to take care of herself. And when mind hygiene is based on cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy helps you identify distorted thoughts and challenge them. What that is you just accept and understand what's going on instead of fixing it. Dialectical behavioral therapy helps you tolerate distress, regulate emotion, and find balance. Here's the thing about regulating emotion. I don't like that. I would rather embrace my emotions. I would rather understand them. I would rather soften them and say it's not hard. And with that said, if you want to watch the next video, this is going to be a breakup at 28, how you still love them, but it's time to let go. And I'm a medical doctor who's going to explain what's really happening from a patient's perspective.